Let's find something here that disproportionately affects minority. All right, okay. So let's blame it on systemic racism. All right, let's change that law. Then let's demand more money when that law ends up hurting them. Hey, let's go on to Juneteenth.
The N-word.
Finger licking good.
All right. You know what?
We covered
when Chris Pavlovsky told me, he said, of course, no one would ever tell you what to say. He's like, I love your show. He goes, but you have to understand why some of the politicians are afraid to go on. I'm like, yep, yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
Not really, but anyway.
So it's Juneteenth, which is a black thing, right? Is it a gay thing? It's a black thing.
Well,
Sure.
I think it's a gay holiday, but whatever.
All right.
See, we don't even know.
I tend to celebrate the Emancipation Proclamation and not just, hey, when you finally found out the last person.
Oh, it is. So it's a black thing.
Yeah, it's a black thing.
Yeah, it is.
So you know what? Let's
The hell isn't.
let's go with that theme. Last year, New York City decriminalized jaywalking because it's racist.
Oh.
So let me be really clear, and this is what the left does: is they look at a problem and say, okay, how can we say that this is racist? That's how they start it. That's step one. Then step two is create a law to fix the racism. And then step three is go, oh, wow, wait a second. Why are the people who we claimed we were going to help doing worse than before? And then they go to a new law. So jaywalking, they looked at it, they said, wait a second. A lot of people a lot of blacks jaywalk? Oh, a lot of blacks are being arrested for jaywalking? That must be because cops are racist. Never mind that more black people jaywalk. It's basically a cottage industry. So they decided to make jaywalking not really a thing anymore. From 1958 to 2024, jaywalking was an offense that was usually punished by a fine. Now it's just legal to cross anywhere.
1958.
What did I say? 98. Oh, 58. Sorry. Admonish
Don't
me.
you dare put me in that split.
Just me.
Admonish.
So 58 to 2024, it was punishable, by a nice white culture. And now it's just, I just imagine what someone in New York City like 50 years from now is going to think when they see a crosswalk. Like, what is this? What is this?
What do I use this for?
Were people playing hopscotch in the middle of the street, you dummies?
It's a weird game.
So let's go to a Juneteenth edition of Claim Truth. All right, here's the claim that you will hear from the left. And just hold your horses, because I know you're going to say, wait a second, isn't that racist? Yes, the answer is yes. But they're trying to tell you that you're racist for not agreeing with them. So their claim is that jaywalking laws themselves are racist.
And now, starting in February of next year, New Yorkers will no longer be breaking the law when crossing the street in between traffic. In 2023, over 92% of jaywalking citations went to Black and Latino New Yorkers, highlighting an unacceptable disparity.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So here's the truth.
Oh, my gosh.
Gosh.
Obviously, like the laws didn't work, but the laws probably helped prevent more minority pedestrian deaths. So studies show that Black and Hispanic pedestrians will do exactly what your lying eyes and ears have told you. They die at 2 times the rate of white pedestrians because of the jaywalking. Unsurprising, Asians die at a lower rate than whites, because Asians are, if nothing else, they are incredibly respectful of law and order. They're the kind of people who, if they're crossing and they see the stop hand pop up, they go back in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Oh, don't, they're going to catch us. So they go right back.
Well, and by the way, if they're going to be in that equation at all, they're on the hitting side of the equation,
Yes,
and
of
not
course.
the being run over side.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. And some of that's by design.
Oh, that's a racist.
And true.
Yeah. Let's look at the insurance rates. Also, the Armenians, for some reason. My brother was in Glendale, highest insurance rates in the country. Here's another truth. That the leftists also claim that our transportation system now suffers from systemic racism. And here's the thing, is now, this is a study that comes from Harvard. They're going, wait a second.
Harvard study.
We need to spend more money to find out why black pedestrians are dying more. In vehicular accidents. It's like, oh,
Weird.
well, hold on a second. Is it the same reason that they were more likely to be arrested for jaywalking? Is the root cause that they jaywalk more than white or Asian people, which is why they were both being arrested and being mowed over by cars. Neither one is good. There's a simpler solution that rather than changing the law because of something racism and then conducting multi-million-dollar studies to find out why it hasn't fixed the problems, tell people not to jaywalk.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
So, this is my favorite part.
J.D. Vance.
This is from Harvard, right? When people talk about intelligent, they used to be intellectuals, and that facade is done now. It's like, oh, well, this is Ivy League school. Okay, let me read you this paper from Harvard. We have created a system where walking and cycling are more dangerous than driving. Sure. And where Black and Hispanic Americans are at greater risk of fatality per mile traveled than white Americans. It's important to consider these disparities in traffic fatalities within the context of a transport system that suffers from racial bias. Now do El Caminos.
I don't understand this.
Here's another truth. This is actually being proposed from Harvard now. These are the same people who said just get rid of jaywalking laws. Now they want to throw more money at figuring out why Black people are getting hit by cars more. Our results strengthen the case for investing resources in communities of color facing the highest traffic fatality risks. Let me ask you this, and I don't know if Harvard has done this. Have you been able to find out if there is a correlation between increased jaywalking, meaning crossing everywhere without warning, without letting the other party know that you're in on it, and traffic fatality risks? Have you done that? We don't need a ton of money because you have that data available. Do people who jaywalk more get hit by cars more? You don't need an NGO. We figured out the problem. I should also note, this is a generalization, not all, because when it comes to pedestrians, hey, whiteys get it too sometimes. It's rare, but it happens.
He walked away, don't worry.
Yeah, he did.
He was also the devil at that point. No, just death.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, they do get hit more, blacks jaywalking. Be
do.
fair to them, they're being chased by the cops across the street.
Can I factor in the third option of natural nighttime camouflage?
That is true.
No.
No, that's
Cannot.
right. That's right.
What
yeah.
about the street takeovers? Do those count as jaywalking fatalities? Or...
Never mind the jaywalking. How about crossing against the light?
Yeah.
Let's get to that.
Yep.
Which my cop buddy, my late great friend Greg was a cop for 30. I go, he was in a car. I go, why do they do that? He goes, because every ounce of their fiber is fighting against the man in the establishment.
Yeah.
That's why.
And then leftists at Harvard go,
That's the best explanation I've ever heard.
it's not your fault. It's actually a racist transportation system.
Yeah.
And not a single black person ever thought of that before. Now, I will tell you this, it was a cottage industry in Michigan where there were billboards after billboards saying, were you hit in a car accident?
Yeah.
Call so-and-so,
They just kind
the
of
dirtiest lawyer that
fall
exists.
into the car, right?
When I was in Michigan, I will tell you, you basically had to be on alert. And you guys can comment below. Had to be on alert anywhere that someone might jump out. And if you hit them, you're going to be sued, even if there isn't a crosswalk for miles. Look, it's just so they die at higher rates. So this is the issue. Can we apply these expectations to people of all races without that being considered racist? I think it's horrible if someone gets hit by a car and killed. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's less horrible because they made a decision, whether it's white, black, very rarely Asian, if they decided to run out in front of traffic. I don't know about you, and maybe this is something that's the systemic racism talking, but my dad, and one of the first things they taught me was to look left, right, and left again. That was a song. That's how I remembered it. And I still got hit by a car, by the way. So I'm an outlier. Yeah.
And my father didn't teach me that. He said, look straight ahead, son.
Just keep walking.
He said, pick a spot over there.
He said, if there's a black guy, follow him. Yeah.
Yes.
You'll be fine. Do what he does. Did you get? Yeah, that's right. We both got hit by cars.
I got hit by a car on a bike, and I should be, honestly, what saved my life, the seat came off the bike.
So you rolled up?
I was standing up pedaling. Woman came up, hit me from behind. A friend of mine saw it out his house, out his window. He saw the whole thing.
Yeah.
I do a flip in the air, break the windshield with my head. She skids, I think they said 80-something feet. I roll off the hood. All I remember is a falling sensation.
Yeah.
And waking up and looking at my bike, it was a ball like this. and there were two ladies over me with veils on. There was a wedding going on across the street.
Oh my God!
They ran over. And
that's a horror movie.
It was
it's
creepy.
like Waking Up in the Others.
Dude,
Are you mad? I am your daughter. Remember that, the veil? No.
Yeah, I was in the hospital for a week with a
Wow.
bad concussion. I should have been. And then she hit a friend of mine a year and a half later.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Mrs. Wu, you don't need a driver's license anymore.
But she has an IQ of 242.
She's very smart. By the way, 3.4 times more likely blacks are 3.4 times more likely than whites to be hit when it gets dark. It's in the study. I'm not making it up.
Yeah, for the same reason that Navy SEALs paint their face. Come on, guys. We all know that.
Exactly.
Don't you remember Halloween? You had to put that orange reflector on your outfit.
Yes.
To
My
ruin
father
your
took
Batman.
mine off.
Apparently, nighttime
He
is
put
racist.
electrical tape over.
Hey, look what you're going to be dressed as for Halloween, son. A Navy SEAL.
Exactly.
Or ninja. Your choice.
Going as a wetsuit.
Here's the Grim Reaper one. Yeah, which one? I mean, so they're all good choices.
Lots of streets to cross.
Yeah, my story is very similar to yours. I jumped up and rolled up the hood and rolled down. There were two parked cars, and there was a lady
Did you
across the
really?
street who said cross.
I try to top my
And
kid.
I remember just seeing white, not seeing anything, and in coming to with my brother on top of me. He was like, speak to me. And I was like, get off me. And then the cop locked me in a cop car to interrogate me, and my dad opened it. It was like, what are you doing? You've watched too many cop shows. Get the hell out of here.
My father gets there, doesn't know if I'm dead or alive. Seriously, they're putting me in the ambulance. The woman who hit me's boyfriend, leather jacket, long hair, gets in my father's face and goes, that car's light, it skids fucking easy. My father tries to grab him. My friend said 3 cops had to hold my father back from losing. He didn't know if I was dead or alive.
Really?
Then when he found that I was alive, he was so disappointed. But
Yeah,
listen,
well,
He put out the cigar.
on him.
he's not going to feel this. He's dead.
Yeah. Oh, no. Hi, boy.
But yeah, that was,
Wake up. What are all these marks? Did I have a lamprey in here?
That was a weird accident, son.
So this is what the left does. They go, oh, okay, let's find something here that disproportionately affects minority. All right, okay. So let's blame it on systemic racism. All right, let's change that law. Then let's demand more money when that law ends up hurting them more often to fix it somehow through some other type of systemic overhaul. And we'll get to quality of life laws like public urination, public nudity, drinking, noise ordinance, right? All of these things too that have been changed in the name of equity, in the name of doing away with systemic racism, which, by the way, has made lives worse for law-abiding minorities who live in these areas. Let's just be clear about that. It makes it worse. This is the white savior complex, like we saw with those white Western liberals who went to Egypt and had no clue that they were going to have the shit kicked out of them by Egyptians who didn't want Greta Thunberg's claim.
Right. Yeah. I don't understand this. Why would you look at something like this and go, well, it must be racism, so we've got to figure this out? There's a problem right now with people being arrested for breaking the law, and it's affecting this group proportionally. Like, well, they're probably just more likely to break the law, right?
Yeah.
What you're talking about is called disparate impact, by the way. When Obama was in office and they went to Minneapolis high schools, they were seeing blacks were being suspended like 8 times more than white students. And they just look at it and go, and this is the only subject where you think like this. You just immediately jump to the conclusion.
Right.
You don't think it out. You know, and they go, oh, more blacks, and they don't, you know what I'm saying? They go, oh, racism.
Right.
They don't, it's called disparate impact. When that came out, I was like, you have to be kidding me.
Yeah. Well, he's a black liberation theologist. He really is.
Yes.
He sat under that tutelage.
Yes, he did.
And this is something,
Frank
it's just the left, the Marxist view. It all stems from this idea of the proletariat, right, versus the bourgeoisie, the wealth class. So it's basically oppressor and oppressed. And so no matter what, the person who is, let's just say, their performance is more poor. In other words, if they're poor, it must be because they were held down. If they're more likely to be jailed, it must be because someone else created laws to put them in jail. If they're a terrorist, it must be because someone else made them a terrorist. And that's why you wonder, how does the left always get it wrong? How does the left always support violent criminals while they somehow support detaining people over speech? How does the left actively support countries that have no rights for women and actively support terrorism? How does the left actively just support rioters? How does the left get all of these things wrong always? Why do they always line up on the side of the criminal, of the mentally ill, LGBTQ, AIP? Always. It's because they view the world as oppressor and oppressed. And here's the thing, as a general rule, people who are more disciplined, not always, there are corrupt people, but people who are certainly in capitalism and free enterprise, who are more disciplined, who have a better work ethic, who perhaps have a higher IQ, who have stronger families, are more likely to be successful. And instead of saying, hey, what led to that? Did this person get up early? Did this person have a mom and dad in the house?
Is
Did
he
this
Amish?
person have? Yeah. Does this person have a faith? Let's look at why is this person successful? They look at the end point and go, they're successful. Therefore, there must be. This is where we start. How did they hurt somebody? Well, no. How did they get there? That's the only way. Because the left, think about it. There's no room for the poor white kid who grew up in a trailer park, who was perhaps a crack baby, who becomes a successful CEO. There's no room for that. So it's just discounted because everything is race, everything is gender, everything is your preference of friction. And we end up here. Jaywalking's legal, basically, and more black people are dying. Huh? What do you think?
It's Marxism.
The N-word. Finger licking good.
What are we saying, Nick?
It's a play. It's right out of the Marxism playbook.
Yeah.
You did, divide, and that's how they do it.
Yeah.
Whether it's attacking the nuclear family, pitting white against black, straight
Yeah.
against gay, it's right out of it. And they apply it to every situation, whether it's school, getting disciplined, jaywalking. That's how you know it's somebody's agenda.
Right.
They're consistent year after year with it. And at what point do you stop calling a Democrat? I've been asking this. I want you got to come up with a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
We have to come up with a name for them because they're not a legitimate political party anymore.
No.
They are a legitimate enemy of the state.
Yeah.
I don't know what we should start calling, but if you start looking at it through that prism, that they're really an organized, and I really believe that, then it all makes sense. I don't even get mad anymore. You know what I mean?
How about chain gang of
Wouldn't know
faggots?
from my attitude, but what?
Chain gang of faggots.
Oh my God, I love it.
I think it's a good one.
Wasn't that a group?
No, it was one of my favorite insults of all time was a super, you reminded me of Super Dave Osborne. Remember he used to do the stunts?
Yes.
And one of them was he was going to insult Mr. T when he was, back then when he was considered the toughest guy.
Yeah.
And he goes into a tent and when he goes, I couldn't pick you off a rooftop full of faggots. Hey, if you're still watching this, you may be one of the 6 million or so subscribers on YouTube who is, for one reason or another, I don't understand it, still here. So back in the day, I would say click one of these videos and subscribe, but really just head on over to my channel on Rumble. Follow me there. I'm live 5 days a week, 11 a.m. Eastern, and I actually say the things that I mean to say. On YouTube, it's everyone here is kind of neutered, really, and there's just a general lack of testicular energy. But I mean that in the heterosexual way. Mostly.